Hey everyone, I'm taking a look at an SC Dawah video today. The Dawah apologist is called Hashim, I think, and he's talking to a couple of atheists about Jizya, which is the tax that Muslims impose on non-Muslims who are under their so-called protection. So let's take a look.
If you were here and the government introduced a tax system where Muslims had to pay 10% extra, would that be discriminating or not?
Yes, it would be.
I just want to stop it there, just so everyone can remember this for later in the video, that Hashim thinks that a extra tax on Muslim that's higher than on non-Muslims would be discriminatory, because he's going to spend the rest of the video arguing the exact opposite when Muslims do it to non-Muslims. Now, this is just a right to start the conversation. They spend the next few minutes arguing over the definition of whether jizya is a tax or not and a couple of other irrelevant things. So I'm picking it up now as the conversation gets properly going.
The reason he pays jizya is because it's a protection. Are you listening? Okay. Jizya you pay because you live in a Sharia country and you pay jizya. By the way, today most of the Muslim countries, in fact, 100% of them don't require jizya. It's been done. It's something that they have pardoned the non-Muslims. Back then,
brilliant.
You were offered. No. I'll tell you why it's not good. Because back then,
why it's not good?
I'll tell you why not. I'll tell you why not. Back then, if you pay jizya, your wealth and your life and your family's wealth and life were protected by the state.
Well, I mean, that's true in pretty much every country, or at least that's supposed to be true, that the state is there to protect your life and your wealth and your family and everything else. So you don't need to have a specific tax that discriminates against someone because of their religious group or the fact they don't have a religion. So this is not a way to defend jizya.
They shouldn't protect it regardless?
If you live in a state, do you not pay taxes regardless?
No, but you should pay it.
Well, I'm asking you.
Our taxes are based on our income, which means we are all treated.
No, not the jizya.
I'm not talking about jizya, I'm talking about tax in this country.
Yeah, but we're talking about jizya. Let's not mix it up now. Let's not mix it up.
No, I'm trying to draw the contrast of why it's wrong.
What is wrong?
See, I like this atheist guy because he does like try and keep him to the point. Hashim is just going to try and dodge away to things constantly, and this guy really does keep him focused, which is rare to see at Speaker's Corner. These Dawah apologists get away with going on tangents all the time, so well done to this guy.
Okay, jizya versus a normal tax here. We pay tax here. Relax, bro.
Normal tax based on your income.
Oh.
Let him finish. Go on, finish it.
I can't remember what I was going to say now.
Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, and this is quite annoying. He does get back to the point, but this is a typical tactic down at Speaker's Corner, because although you can't see it from the camera angle, they're always surrounded by 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 other Muslims who will do this annoying thing of interrupting and trying to throw people off. So it's worth mentioning. It's a really kind of sneaky tactic rather than having an honest conversation.
I beg you be quiet.
You were saying about the tax.
Relax, man.
The tax is based on the income. Is that what you were saying? It's okay. Sorry. Let's have one discussion.
Discrimination.
Okay.
Wait, I can't remember my point.
By the way,
very much.
Okay,
There you go. The man explained
why is it discriminatory?
Okay, listen, taxes here are based on our income.
Exactly.
Not on our religious belief.
I agree.
Not on something by choice.
It's
based on something that's given to us.
children,
right?
Yes. Different.
Okay. So now you're comparing this with what? With Islamic Sharia.
Now, jizya is based on a belief or lack of belief.
Yeah, no, belief. On the belief. Not the lack of belief.
Okay.
Well, it's both a belief or a lack of belief. If you don't happen to believe the Muslim God exists.
I'm saying, you are treating non-Muslims differently based on their religious belief. You can't do that. You can't treat people differently based on their belief.
Okay. Now this is.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but obviously the guy's point is that would be discriminatory, and you would hope in a modern industrialized country you wouldn't be doing that kind of thing. You want to create a situation where all citizens are equal, which is a complete anathema to Sharia, and why, because Muslims advocate for this system, they are always going to be in conflict with non-Muslims.
Based on the Bible or the secular opinion? Because
Islam, you draw everything back on.
Yes. Do you know why?
You should be able to justify Islam without attacking the Bible.
I'm not attacking the Bible.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I mean, this is a constant fucking thing that they do. It's constantly like, oh, look at the Bible. I mean, this guy's not even a Christian. So I mean, it was labeled in the video that he's an atheist. He doesn't talk about Christianity at all, defending Christianity. So why he's going to the Bible is just a typical tactic. It's just like, whataboutery 1000.
Bible. Oh my God, I'm not taking the Bible.
Drawing a comparison.
You know why? You know why I'm asking this question to you? Listen. Have you not realized that everything that you take an objection with Islam is based on your liberal opinion rather than the Bible?
Well, I mean, they love going this liberal thing. I mean, no, it's based just on the idea of fairness. And so what? What does it matter that it's based on that? The point is, can you justify jizya?
This is the point I'm trying to drive with you. Yeah. And this is not only you. Every Christian. Wait. Listen. No. I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer. Who said avoid it? I'm going to answer that point. Hold on. You already judged me before I answered.
I'm not judging.
You have because you said I avoided the answer. Okay, here's the thing. In Islamic Sharia, you pray. Guys, listen to this very important point. In Islamic Sharia, the Muslims. If you guys want to have a discussion, have it. Because then we get confused what we're talking about. In Islam, yes, every male and every female who can afford it, they have to pay the zakat. And this is a percentage of their savings. Not of the income, not of the earning, but of the savings. Because you can be a multi-billionaire. Yes, you can earn a lot of money in 1 year and maybe earn nothing. But you still have like hoarded a lot of gold in your little bank or whatever, Swiss account or whatever it is. In Islam, that person has to pay tax zakat every single year.
What's zakat for? Who does it go to?
It goes to the poor people. There are actually 8 categories of people to whom it goes to. That is one of them. It goes to 8 categories. One of them, the main one, is to the poor people. Yeah. The other categories are people who have accepted Islam, Muslims.
Yeah, it's funny to say that actually, because one of the categories, it's been a while since I looked at this. One of the categories for zakat is basically to pay to convince non-Muslims to become Muslim. So therefore, those who they think that might have a penchant for converting, you use the money which you tax from them in this mafioso jizya way to then use as kind of missionary work on them. So that's a really charming use. You're basically paying for your own propaganda.
For protection. It's not for protection.
Wait. No. It's not for protection. Who told you it's for protection?
Lovely. So jizya is for state protection.
Yes.
And the Muslims get state protection for no fee whatsoever.
Can I finish?
That is lovely.
Can I finish? You have done it. You have done it again. Before I finish my point, you judged.
Explain it to him.
You judged.
I have every right to judge on what you
No, but
said.
you should let me finish. You should let me finish.
Go on, finish.
Yeah, I mean, you should just get to the point quicker. I mean, you didn't actually need to start going into the details of zakat. Let's focus on jizya.
Let me ask you something. The Muslims pay zakat, which is a percentage of their income, and this is applicable to both men and women. Now contrast this. Now this is an important bit. Contrast this with the jizya. Yes. By the way, those who pay zakat, they are also obliged to join the army if the state requires of them. Right. Okay. Now look at the jizya. The jizya, there is actually a fixed amount. I think it was less than £100 or something. By today's value, maybe 1 gold dinar or something, which was a gold coin at that time. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's not. Yes, it's a fixed amount, but it can be set by the state. It can be set by the caliph or the Muslim authorities, whatever. So therefore, it can potentially be anything.
No matter how rich you are, you could be a multi-billionaire, and you pay that upper limit, and that is it. Secondly, it is not required of the women in your family or the children in your family, and it's not required of anyone who's poor.
Well, I don't think it's required of children in Islam to pay zakat. But yes, I mean, you say it's required of the women, but then in a Sharia state, it's basically going to be the men who are going to be owning all the property, aren't they? Virtually. I mean, yeah, women, the wives are supposed to get their little purse of change to go buy, little clothes or something like that, or a bit of food. But essentially everything's under the man anyway. So, I mean, it's irrelevant whether it's the whole household or whether you do it individually between the male or the female.
With respect, it's all irrelevant.
No, it is not irrelevant. For you, maybe it is. The people.
Well, it is relevant because the main issue is, are non-Muslims going to be taxed at a different rate? Well, that's one issue. And the second issue is the nature of jizya, what it represents, what it's for. And they're really negative things.
To take objection to jizya, they need to know this.
I'm not take objection.
No. I want to show you that who really should be complaining in Islam between jizya and zakat. Who should really be complaining?
The non-Muslims.
The Muslims. No, the Muslims pay more.
You pay more, and we pay for something.
Hold on. The Muslims pay more. Yes.
Yeah.
The Muslims are obliged to take part in the army.
Right. I mean, it's just a lie or at least it's a claim without any evidence to say that Muslims pay more for zakat than non-Muslims pay for jizya. Now, it's actually quite difficult to get specific details on this, but I did find a book online called it's an economic and social history of the Ottoman Empire, and I will give you a link in the description so you can check this for yourself, because it's got the entire text online, but it will bring you to a section which will show that it seems that Muslims were charged the 2.5% for zakat, and for the first few hundred years of the Ottoman Empire, non-Muslims were paying 5%. So that's at least in one of the major empires of Islam for several centuries, non-Muslims were paying 100% more than non-Muslims. Now, bear it in mind that Hashim said at the start of this video that he thought that if Muslims had to pay an extra 10% over non-Muslims, that would be discriminatory. Here, we seem to have evidence that at least in one case, and it's a considerable one, non-Muslims were paying 100% more, and yet he doesn't think that's discriminatory. Now, as I say, it's difficult. It'd be nice to actually have some kind of concrete list of the different times, different places, and how much jizya was actually paid at, from a historical point of view. But it'd also be nice to have more examples to counter this. One of the things that I've noticed, though, the many videos I've seen about this topic, the Dawah apologists always claim that jizya was paid at a lower value. They never have any fucking examples of it. Never once in any video have I seen a concrete example where they can back that up. And considering the only example that I can find says the complete opposite, I'm just going to chalk this up to them just making shit up, because they know, and it makes logical sense, that those who you are subjugating, you're going to squeeze as much out of them as possible. So why would you ask them to pay less and potentially even annoy your own Muslim subjects?
The Muslims are the ones who have to pay even for the women folk, or the women who are working, even they have to pay. But you see, the jizya is only the rich men who pay. They are not obliged to work.
That's not true either. It's not only the rich men. The richer people pay more, but as long as you've got some means to pay, you are going to pay something under jizya. So that's just another lie.
To basically take part in the army, yes, or be conscripted in the army. They are protected by the law of the country. Anything that happens to them is now the direct accountability of the caliph. Now wait.
Yes, but the point is you can oppress them in all sorts of ways, directed from the same caliph. This is the whole point about being under Muslim rule. You are going to be second-class citizens. You're going to face a certain amount of oppression, and one of those oppressions is the jizya, because you're going to be overly taxed for being non-Muslims. And this whole thing about, oh, well, you know, you don't have to fight for the army. Yeah, because the Muslims are essentially an imperial power. They are the ones who are attacking you or threatening to attack you. So therefore, yeah, why would they want you in the army? You are subjects. You are there to just cough up essentially what is a mafia tax. And they keep using the term like, oh, it's for your protection. That's exactly what the mafia say. They say, we'll protect you from all the other thugs as long as you give us, the main thugs, your money.
Wait, are you telling me that if these people who are the non-Muslims, yes, should they pay any tax at all?
You're making an excellent sales pitch for introducing
jizya. Yeah, I tell you, it's fantastic.
I like these guys' sense of humour. They see exactly what he is, a fucking used car salesman. This is all this guy is.
Almost making me think, damn, I'd like to pay the jizya.
No, but you would have to if you were living in a Muslim country, whether you like it or not.
I thought any rich people.
So, you know...
Are you rich?
No, by no means.
So again, he caught him out there. He said, oh yeah, I thought only rich people paid, and now he's changing his story.
Okay, then you don't have to worry about it.
Not yet.
But do you not see the difference between zakat and jizya?
Yes, jizya is a mafia tax. As far as I can tell, paid at a higher rate, even if you can find maybe examples in history where it wasn't. And it comes with all sorts of other humiliations, although we will get into that in a bit.
Who should really be complaining? Do you think the Muslims should be complaining that the non-Muslims get a really compared to the non-Muslims, they're getting a really unfair treatment? So it isn't.
They're not getting unfair treatment. It's not unfair on the people who are subjugating others. It's the people getting subjugated who it's unfair on.
Like the Muslims should.
It's not about whether it's good or bad. The fact of the matter is, you're paying in zakat because it's one of your 5 pillars of your religion.
Yes.
If he's not Muslim, zakat's nothing to him. So
I
why
agree.
should he pay it?
I agree. Who said?
You can dress it up and tell me how great it is, how poor I am, how I go in the army. That's irrelevant.
It's all irrelevant.
By the way, who said he has to pay zakat? I don't know what you're on about. Why should he pay zakat?
No.
What's jizya?
Jizya, sorry.
Not zakat. What have lying all this time?
So it's the equivalent for non-Muslims.
It's not equivalent.
Yes, it is.
You see,
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much is. I mean, you can argue, quibble about the details, but it is basically.
the reason I wanted to drive this point.
Why do we get to, let me ask you this.
The reason he did not listen to a single word I said.
Listen to everything, but like I said,
He did not, because if he did, then he wouldn't have asked this question.
No, because his point
is what?
the core root.
What is the core root?
You dressed it up, you gave all this brilliant sales pitch on it. That's lovely, it's excellent.
What sales pitch? It wasn't a sales pitch.
Yes, it was.
It is to show you.
It's how good it is.
Are you a freeloader?
The reason.
Then in a society where you're living, you have to pay.
Yes.
The money that you...
If you're a freeloader, then okay.
You said 2 minutes ago, yeah?
Was that?
You said 2 minutes ago. The tax that we pay, yeah,
is very-
to fix
No,
roads,
it doesn't
all that
matter.
kind of stuff, yeah?
Our money as well.
But no, he said it goes to charity. There's 8 different things.
8 different
You're religious.
No,
It doesn't go
but
to
hold
fix
on.
the roads.
Hold on.
So my money
Hold on.
is paying to fix the roads.
And
for you to
our money
drive
as
on.
well.
No,
Exactly.
your money's going to charity.
Yeah, it's worth noting that one of the categories is also the upkeep of the very army which will be used to threaten you if you don't pay the jizya. So again, you're paying for the very oppression that you're under.
No. So in paradise, you get fucking reward for it. Well, what do I get?
Wait.
Oh, we go hell.
To him.
Wait, exactly. By the way,
burning barbecued in hell, mate.
by the way, are you worried about your afterlife?
No, I'm not. But that's according to
Then
you.
why are you worried about what's going to happen to your charity in the afterlife? What a dumb
You're
point.
missing the point.
Yeah, you are missing the point. I mean, the point is that in the Muslim's mind, he's going to get additional award for paying zakat. So it's not exactly really a selfless act. There's reward in this life as well as reward in the next life in a Muslim's mind, whereas supposedly everyone else is going to burn in hell. So, you know, the jizya doesn't have this so-called end-of-life reward.
No, that's the dumbest point ever.
This is all you do.
It was.
Brush over
Because the thing is this, like he asked you, do you want to pay anything to the government when you live under it?
Do I want to?
Yes.
No.
Okay, but if the government requires of you, what do you do?
I have to pay it.
Or
face the punishment according to the law of the land I live in.
or there's one more option.
Leave.
Exactly.
Oh, lovely.
So now the question is
if you
this.
were born in a territory conquered by the Ottoman Empire,
Yeah.
you just get up and walk thousands of miles and leave. So
No, you don't.
Oh, so you're in the
You
opportunity to pay
don't.
the
So you pay.
Yes, I mean, he makes a great point there. They walk in, they take your territory, and then they say, you pay us to be our subjects, or you leave the land that you were born in. I mean, aren't there words for that? Things like ethnic cleansing, I think, something like that.
You pay the minimum jizya, which is really not unfair if you ask me.
Yeah, but why would we ask you? Because you lie about it all the time. You don't have any receipts to say that it's less than zakat. And the only example I can find is that it's more. So, yeah, of course we shouldn't ask you.
Living under the protection state.
Again, it's irrelevant.
Why is it irrelevant?
It's irrelevant whether or not it's fair, whether or not it's a large amount, small amount, etc.
No, it's very relevant. Because mainly when it comes to finance and monetary things, it is always the amount you pay.
At least, you need to know there's a gap.
People will not complain that if you have to pay tax every year, if you have to pay only £1 tax in this country every year, trust me, no one will complain. But when you have to pay more, then only you complain. Okay, so now, look, I still don't know. Your objection is like, why do the Muslims pay zakat and why do the non-Muslims pay?
This was one example.
This is not discriminatory, if you ask me.
Yeah, but again, why would we ask you? It's not discriminatory, even though that example in the Ottoman Empire says that the non-Muslims are paying 100% more. And you said at the start of this video that if Muslims had to pay 10% more, it would be discriminatory. It's just this classic thing. It is one of the pillars of Dawah. Basically, if Muslims do it to non-Muslims, it's okay. If non-Muslims do it to Muslims, it's not okay. The fucking hypocrisy of it.
The discriminatory would be if they were unfairly treated after paying the jizya.
No, the jizya itself is unfair treatment.
You're selling the features and benefits of that particular tax.
Yes.
But the end point is,
what?
It's a religious-based tax.
No, it's not religious. It is not religious.
I mean, how can it not be religious? I mean, it is based on having a religious state making the laws, in this case, the Islamic state. Therefore, I mean, almost by definition, every law that's going to come out of it is religious in one sense, but it is also directly to do with religion. Since non-Muslims don't pay zakat, they get this equivalent. It absolutely is based on religion, and it's based on what religion you believe or don't believe in.
It is not religious tax. Who told you that?
You pay your 5%. It goes
No, it's a protection.
Listen.
If you want to just translate it, it's more of a protection money for you.
Hold up.
I mean, doesn't it just sound like mafia when he says that? It's just protection. We'll smash the shop windows in if you don't pay it.
You're saying
Protection money. Yes. If you live in a country, if you live in a country, you pay certain things called the tax, unless you want to be a freeloader, like you said.
Chill. Okay, listen. Discrimination.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
Listen, you said that you don't think it's discriminatory, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Discrimination is treatment or consideration of, or making a distinction towards, a person based on a group, class, or category to which the person is perceived to belong.
Absolutely.
Uncle, the Jizya tax is the very definition of discrimination, regardless of its features, regardless of whether or not it's less or more. It is the very definition of discriminatory.
Okay, when you read the dictionary definition, did you take the context into account?
Why is it?
Because if I'm going,
help me.
Okay, listen. If I'm going to use that definition, let's say that you guys all believe in human sacrifice.
You know what?
No, wait. According to the definition of human sacrifice, anyone who believes that a human has to be sacrificed to atone their sins, then they believe in human sacrifice. So all Christians are pagans.
Right. Does anybody understand what the fuck he was talking about there? How did that later relate to discrimination? If you believe in human sacrifice, that's discrimination. What the hell does that mean?
You know, if you go without context, this is what we do. But the reason you only abide by the dictionary definition, the reason you go
is because the dictionary definition explains what the fucking words mean. That's why.
Based on secular definition is because based on your faith.
So what does that mean? Secular definition, for crying out loud. What does that mean? It is a fucking dictionary explaining the meaning of the word. Yes, if you want to have your definition in Islam, which means that discrimination is only when you do it against Muslims, and every time you do it against non-Muslims, it's not discrimination. Well, yeah, I suppose you can do it, but that's not exactly a reasonable definition, is it? That is just a one-sided piece of hypocrisy.
You have no grounds to stand on.
Far better saying that it is discrimination, but it's a form of positive discrimination. You could actually potentially.
But I don't consider it as discrimination. If any discriminatory objection was there, it would be the Muslims who would be doing it.
Find the word of what it means.
Yeah, I'm sure the mafia would say the same thing when they go around collecting for their money. It's just like, oh yeah, we're really discriminating against ourselves with this protection money. I mean, he's like a rubbish Tony Soprano, this guy.
It will be the Muslims, but I told you take the context into account as well. Otherwise, all Christians believe in human sacrifice.
I genuinely enjoy talking to you a lot of the time.
No, but you're not listening to him.
Points, but you are really cocking up badly.
No, listen,
I think you.
Yeah, I agree. He's all over the place.
You are taking away the context from the discussion, and that is a very bad thing to do.
No, he's keeping directly in the context. The context is that you want a discrimination tax based on religion.
In a logical debate.
You work? Yes. No, I'm a student.
Okay, I used to have.
Do you pay your loans? Do you pay interest on your loans?
I haven't started earning enough to pay my loans back.
When you
exactly, but you are required to, right? When you start earning that much.
HM revenue will come behind you.
Okay, now is that?
Now, you see the arm that's poking at this point now. Hashim's gone off on just another completely irrelevant tangent, but we now have the arm of a genius get into the picture. Let's see who it is.
It's a tax? Is that discriminatory? I never get my bill.
You live in Islamic society.
Try to pay the tax and just wait for about a couple of months and see what happens to your door.
I think
Could anyone tell me when I'm not paying my taxes?
You see, that's all it takes. It only takes a few seconds of Ali Dawah. Can you not just feel the conversation getting that bit dumber when he joins in? He's just adding on to a completely irrelevant point, talking about paying tax. It's not about whether you pay tax. It's what the tax actually is and how it's based. Is it based on discrimination? Is it based on essentially mafioso tactics of saying, we'll invade you and then we'll force you to pay a tax for protection money? And it's also based on the idea of humiliation as well, because there is Islamic texts, whether it's in the Quran or Hadiths, talk about subduing the people and making them pay the jizya and basically humiliating them. You see it in the tafsirs, how they explain the Quranic verses and the Hadiths. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why. It's not to do with, therefore any tax is going to be like that.
When I said I'm not going to pay my loan,
you don't want to pay in the Muslim society. The tax is required from you.
Actually, you already paid.
It's discriminatory, and you're not paying it.
You're
so
not
why
paying
should
it.
I?
Okay.
Why you, according to your definition of secularism, not even your faith?
No, it's a dictionary definition, not secularism.
But 1 minute. According to your definition of secularism,
yes,
you might consider it discriminatory. Just like according to your definition.
No.
Wait.
According to the definition of discrimination,
hold on. Was it discriminatory for Mary to get pregnant without her consent?
He's now talking about what the virgin birth or something is supposed to be discriminatory. I mean, there are tangents and then there are tangents, and this one is on Mars at this point. It's so far away from the topic.
Without her consent. No, based on discriminatory, he's saying, according to his definition, it's discrimination. I think to make a 12-year-old pregnant without her consent is far worse than any discrimination. Do you agree?
Again, I'm not sure where he's getting a 12-year-old from, but I mean, Muslims believe in the virgin birth as well. So why is he bringing this up as if this is like a burn on Christianity? Does he not know his own religion?
Do you agree?
Saying it's discrimination to me.
Well, it is to Mary, who took her consent that she has to be pregnant at the age of 12. No one. You see what I mean? The reason you judge everything based on liberalism and not Christianity is because it's not.
You changed the subject completely.
I had to in order to make you realize, because you guys were going in circles.
No, you did it because you lost the argument, and that's why you just want to jump to something else.
Right.
Sometimes you have to strike where you are not looking at the logic behind the discussion.
Is your tax
Again, a complete fucking non sequitur. What does that mean?
based on your religion or not?
Why are you worried? You're not even in an Islamic state, so what are you worried about? If you don't like...
Again, what a stupid point to make. I mean, we got people like you in Speaker's Corner trying to advocate for this system and trying to encourage as many Muslims as possible to push for it in this country. Of course it's relevant.
Like Islamic State,
so we're discussing something.
Yes.
So what?
So
now,
if you
because
look,
you just the argument,
listen.
They're not here now.
You have three options. You have either to pay the jizya, if it's implied. Like I said, today in other Muslim countries expect of it. In fact, most of the Muslim countries until recently was completely tax-free. So
I have no idea where he's got that from. I'm pretty sure that was true in Saudi Arabia up until fairly recently. There was no income taxes because they're just living off oil wealth. Might have been true in United Arab Emirates, but pretty much every other Muslim majority country, I'm damn well sure, had taxes to pay. So this is just completely made up.
take 100% of your wages home.
Wonderful. But brilliant.
Are you complaining?
Now wait. Based on that,
what's the point?
The point, you said brilliant because there's no tax to be paid. Wait, 1 second, mate. Now wait. Okay, please. If you want to talk, you can always talk because I get confused when so many people are talking.
Yeah.
Now, based on that, if you were in a Muslim country who had no tax to pay, when they come to this country, would they say, "Oh, you got being discriminatory"? Because my country doesn't require any tax to be paid, but yours does.
Again, an absolutely stupid question. You can't compare two different countries. In order to tell whether it's discriminatory, it's how people are treated under the same authority. How can you compare it to another place in the world which your government doesn't have any control over? His arguments are fucking asinine.
Does he have the right to say your country is discriminating? Can you please? Do you understand the logic behind this?
No, because there's no logic behind it. There's no logic behind anything you say ever.
This is you missing.
What missing?
You're completely missing the point.
What point?
Taxes here are not based on your belief, which is not objectively provable. It is based on your income, which is objectively provable and verifiable, and therefore fair, and to tax people at different rates.
You think tax is fair in this country?
See, that's a brilliant summary, and he brought it straight back. And look how he's just going to dodge away to some other topic. Excellent way to bring it back, I have to say. But again, these SC Dawah guys, they are just the fucking kings of obfuscation.
Seriously. What do you know about taxes in this country that you think is fair?
You see, I mean, it's just like he doesn't address the point he's just made. He's just going to go off on this thing, arguing about individual taxes in the UK.
Do you know who actually avoids the most tax? The richest in this country, and corporations like Apple and Google and all that. They have their accountants, so please don't tell me it's fair. Okay?
It's never fair.
My friend, your objective fairness, which you just thought, you have no clue about the taxes in this country.
I didn't say it's objectively fair.
Okay,
I
so
never said that.
In what case is it fair?
I said there's a stark difference between taxing people based on their income and taxing people differently based on their
But it's not based on income. Who told you it's based on income?
The fact that it's a fucking income tax, you absolute dope.
I think that's what you want to be.
What?
Now currently.
No, I'm talking about currently as well.
Is taxation in the United Kingdom based on your income?
In theory, yes. In practice, no.
No, not in theory. It's in the fucking tax code. I mean, yes, you do have all sorts of tax avoidance and everything else, but yes, for the average person, they're going to pay it based on their income. As long as you haven't got some slick accountant or something, you can find some loophole where you're going to be able to hide some money offshore or whatever. But yes, the tax system is an income-based one.
Do you understand that point?
We're talking about theory.
No, we are not. No. Practice is the most.
Practice.
Okay, ignore the practice of jizya because the Muslim countries don't actually require it. Ignore it. Come on, let's ignore it.
Again, idiotic point. You're the one advocating for the system. Therefore, he's arguing the points with you.
Is for secular 2% society, and Hashim's argument is in a Muslim society, non-secular, that is
a requirement of the state.
Yeah, required by Sharia.
Exactly.
That is the law. But it may be discriminatory in your definition of which is fine. Absolutely, you're putting a load on discriminatory. It's still saying there's a difference between you and you. That's fine.
No, but he's saying discriminatory based on you're comparing apples and oranges. Do you realize that?
Yes, he's comparing one, which, as he said, was based on something you can measure objectively, how much somebody is earning, and then you can work out a tax rate based on that earning. That is something tangible, something that is objective, as long as you've got access to all the details of their income. Basing it on religious belief is absolutely ridiculous. And in a democratic state, you do have at least the option of trying to sort that out. I mean, you can change the tax rates, you can put in place legislation to go after tax avoiders and that kind of thing. So there is some hope. And the point is, you can, as I say, it's a tax that's put on everyone, and you can argue to change those rates. What can a non-Muslim do? They simply have to accept whatever the caliph says is the rate of jizya, and they have to pay it, and they've got no way to ever change it. So it's a very different system.
No, it is what it is.
I know that
you're comparing apples and oranges because what you're doing is you're looking at a secular, non-religious country and you're comparing its laws. Listen, you're comparing its laws to that of the Muslim country's law.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. And the point is, it shows that the non-Muslims are doing it way fairer and not discriminating against anyone, whereas the Muslims are. Yes, that's the entire point of the conversation.
Different ideology.
Yes, and that's the reason I'm saying you're the one actually missing the point.
Yeah, and that's how he ends. You're the one that's missing the point, apparently, by actually making the argument. And that's how the video ends. So I cannot believe they put this up. I mean, he is terrible in this argument. And I've got to give credit to the two guys in the video. I think they did a pretty damn good job. And hopefully, if one of them might see this, if you ever, if you want to leave a comment or talk about it, because I have actually had people in the past who have seen these reviews and they'll leave comments, or if you want to talk or anything, that would be great. But yeah, I mean, this was a pitiful display from SC Dawah. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one.